Yeah. All right. You want to do the intro?
God.
Oh, hold on. I'm over here forgetting stuff. Put this here so I won't move. Man, we should be good.
It says system on the liquid detected.
Yeah. That's probably nothing but damn Satan. Because it's all it is. It be in its case. Hopefully that's good. It's nothing but Satan. But yeah, let's go ahead and get it.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
First and foremost, we need to give all honor and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashim,
Bashim, Yahushua,
Yahushai, Bashim,
Bashim,
Kakwadash.
Kakadash.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect, Tabernacle of David. Shalom, Speaker Bird Israelite. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Man, bro, we was talking about that one J, Carmelo Anthony, that just got sentenced to 35 years, man. And the other Jake, both younger, than me. The other Jake got shot in the back, I think by a Moabite,
Yeah.
at a store running, I think. That's been trending right now, on social media. You got everybody showing who they are, especially the Edomites. They always show who they are in these type of scenarios whenever Jake gets no mercy. It's ultimately the curses. It's ultimately the judgment of the Lord. For whatever that Jake did, either in this life or his past life. I mean, you know, it says that got the
It's probably the liquid
notification.
thing again.
Yeah,
I'm going to just say, damn.
emergency override.
Thinking about it, so I don't know how there's any liquid in it. That's what I said. Give me 1 second. Slocky up. So I'm probably just going to blow on it. Unless my son had this last night. Slocky, y'all. It's nothing but Satan trying to mess up the word, man. Hey, we still gonna preach the word, man. The word's still gonna be preached.
Con.
All right, hopefully that's good.
But yeah, we talking about them two Jakes, man. At Jake Carmelo Anthony, not the basketball player. He just got the same name, younger Jake.
Yep.
35 years, man. But hey, those things always happen, because we're under the curses. This man is over us, man. Let me get that. I think that's in Zechariah 11, where it talks about the possessors slaying us. Yep. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. You know, our own so-called leaders out here, so-called, because they're not the real leaders. You got these jakes that been sold out,
Yeah.
that are activists, that are so-called trying to push for Jake to gain rights and, to get some type of mercy. Well, hey, even they not on Jake's side. I forgot what his name is. There's one Jake. Um, he really speaks about sports a lot, but he basically said, that Jake deserves what he got.
Man.
He didn't care or have no mercy. He sounded like a damn Edomite. He may be his Jason Whitlock.
Jason
That's what his name
Woodlock,
is.
yeah, he may be an Edomite.
Yeah, he may be Edomite. Of
Or
course.
just a token.
Yeah, you got a lot of these sellout Jakes, man. You know, if you go look at that scenario, what happened, they say he was under a different team's tent, and he wasn't supposed to be over there, and all those things. But the dudes came over and messed with him. They don't own the tent, you know. So who are they? They're not the tent police, They're not the security. They're kids just like him, And they obviously, if they're at that little track meet thing, they all, When you run track, if brothers know, there's different events going on.
Yeah.
So you gotta a lot of times wait if you're not up, like your school's not up or you don't gotta run or whatever the case may be. You know,
Yeah, you
um,
got the high jump, the long jump,
yeah.
30-meter dash, the long run, got a lot of events. Salaki, to cut you off,
Are you good?
you know, from what I heard from that situation, he was supposed to be there. It was just the twins that weren't supposed to be there. You see, they was putting that in the media. Oh, Carmelo wasn't supposed to be there, but it's really the twins that weren't supposed to be there. That's what I saw and that's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? And they came up there as the Edomites do, try to take over.
Always messing with
Yeah,
somebody. Can't mind your damn business.
meddling in other man's affairs. And apparently, I guess they knew him as well, so they've been bullying him. They said bro was about 5'6", and they were about 6'1",
6'2".
6'1", 6'2". That's
So that's the difference.
yeah,
And they had more muscle on them.
yeah. You know, here it is. This guy, you can imagine he's a lot skinnier. He's doing long jump, and these guys, I believe they play football, so they big dudes, man. You know, But as the brothers are going into, man, that retribution, man, it's coming. You know, the brother spoke about that Moabite that killed that younger Jake as well the other day, man. Yeah, we got to get the heck up out of here, right? These other nations hate you, Jake. Psalms 83. These other nations hate you, man. But yeah, go ahead, Hike.
Yeah, they always show how much they hate you whenever these situations take place, man, because they don't have no mercy. They don't care. They say it's not about race, but it is because these situations happen so frequently. They happen so often. We're the ones, you know, uh, in these situations, and we're the ones, taking the fall for it. You know, because that situation with Carmelo Anthony, you know, hey, I mean, yeah, he did what he did. We're not saying it didn't happen, you know, but I mean, who's to say if they wouldn't have, you know, took him out,
Yeah,
You don't know that. We don't know that. I wasn't there. Don't know that Jake. Don't know them. Edomites. You know. I think they said he had a knife or something. You know. Why he had a knife at the track meet? So that means if he had a knife, if he's walking around with it, he premeditated the murder. Like, how many Edomites I know or so-called white boys I know, that walking around with a knife on them every
yeah,
single day, and they go to work with a knife,
yeah,
and they ain't supposed to have it on them. But yet, you don't say that they're premeditating murder wherever they go, but yet, because he's a Jake, he premeditated murder, and it was a Edomite,
yeah,
so-called white boy. That's why you Edomites are saying that shit. You know, that Jake didn't premeditate no murder, and he was a good student. He had so-called good grades and all that. He had a mom, he had a dad. Most Jakes don't have a father like that in their household that's active, that's teaching them, that's disciplining them. He actually
mhm,
had that, so that made a difference. And the fact that I think they said he was talking to his friend when they came over there.
yeah,
So obviously, he wasn't the initial, or he wasn't the troublemaker in the situation. He wasn't the um instigator. It was them. They came over there. They weren't supposed to be over there. And I think seen some information where they had got suspended from their team
yeah,
like a week before. These are all things that I didn't heard. I can't, necessarily confirm it necessarily. Like I said, I don't know these people, but if you look at all the information, like all y'all gonna say is that, well, he shouldn't have stabbed him. Well, how would y'all know if them people was going the boys was gonna stab him or kill him? You didn't know that.
yeah,
He just reacted and it went like that. But y'all Edomites, y'all going into slavery, man.
yep.
Y'all ain't getting no mercy in the kingdom.
Hey, Shalom Mark, y'all about Simeon Dominicans.
Shalom, Mark, y'all Shabbat.
Hey, good brother right there. GMS Lively Stones, man. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Keep up the good work, brother.
Khan.
Yeah. Let's get Baruch 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity where thou hast scattered us. Why? For a reproach and a curse, right? Here it is. These other nations can kill Jake and get off scotch-free. But the moment Jake, tries to defend himself, you got two twins that's literally beating you up. right? They saying fight back, nigga. And the moment you fight back, you get judged for that, man, or you end up, accidentally killing them, which that's what I believe through the spirit. I could be wrong, but one of them ends up, their life ends up getting taken. You get sent to the slammer, man.
I don't even think he meant to kill him.
Yeah,
He just he just was trying to defend himself.
yeah.
And having a knife on you, Slack, it's
You
not
good, brother?
illegal to walk around with a knife on you. That's not illegal to do that.
Yeah, Sluggy. Apparently it was a utility knife, so not like a huge ass pocket knife that I see these Edomites be walking around with. You know, it was just like a utility knife. Something that you use to fix up things. You know what I'm saying? But these Edomites got that hatred in their hearts, man. Let's get some more. And to be subject to payments, you see, a lot of brothers got child support. Just regardless, we have bills. The moment you get paid, you got to pay them bills, man. Car insurance. Even if your car is paid off, you got property tax. Even if your house is paid off, you got the house tax. You know what I'm saying? This is not our rest. Let's get some more on that. According to the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from Yahweh our power. So, that's ultimate judgment from that brother Carmelo. We hate to see it, but at the same time, when we read the scriptures and when we read this, the spirit, and we understand that ultimately that was judgment, as the brother said earlier, from what he did in his past life or even this life. You know what I'm saying? Even the younger brother that got killed the other day by the Moabite.
I think he was even younger, like
Yeah,
14 or something.
yep, whatever he did in his past life or even in his life now, right? Because you got to remember when you hit puberty, right? Natural puberty, because over here in Babylon the Great, they got kids, reaching puberty in elementary school. But natural puberty, 11, 12 years old, right? That's when you're a true man. And apparently he was 14 years old, so he was a younger man, right? So he paid for what he did in his past life, man, right? Let's get some more on that. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life and give ear to understand wisdom. You see, we out here on the highways and byways feeding our people with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? How happened it to Israel? Thou art waxing, thou art in thy enemy's land, you see? Though this was Gad and Reuben, across the border, Ephraim and Issachar and so on and so forth. This is Esau Edom's land. He has taken over it, right? And so, yes, we are in our enemy's land. Thou art waxing old in a strange country. Thou art defiled with the dead. Thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. You see? Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. That's why we're counting of them that go down to the grave, because our people has forsaken this wisdom. That's why this judgment is upon us, right? You got to remember in the time of Yahushua, right, and the apostles and the elders and brothers on down at that time, right? Our people said, let the blood be upon us and our children.
They did.
You see? That's why you're seeing a lot of judgment on our people. Jake getting shot down. Jake goes to defend himself, and he ends up, getting sent to the slammer, and an Edomite or a person of another nation gets off scot-free.
Hey, when that Edomite come back in the kingdom, because we believe that we're gonna get out of here very soon.
Yeah,
You know, we can't give you no date, but we definitely getting out of here very soon. But he gonna be a slave in the kingdom when he come back.
yeah,
Him and his brother's still alive, but the one that died, he gonna be back, but he gonna be subject. And with the spirit the Lord may have it to where that Jake that did what he did,
yeah.
hey, he gonna be over him directly in the
Mm-hmm.
kingdom. So either way, yeah, it's bad on this side for him, but the Lord gonna have mercy on all Jakes, in the kingdom. It tells you that in the book of Romans.
Yeah,
Then that's when all Israel should be saved. So, you know, he's, maybe probably, I would say 2/3 maybe on this side. He wasn't in the truth, or nothing like that. Probably not at least. Since that happened to him.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, things happen, and that's how the Lord has certain things play out. But that Jake, the other Jake, I think the dude that shot him, he got off.
Yeah.
I believe. So that just shows you who the favor is towards and who is unfavored in all situations. It's always us. And that one Jake, that 14-year-old, people were saying he looks like Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Martin. Yeah, I
But
saw that.
I think we were talking about that the other day. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't been long enough for that Jake to come back. It ain't been that long because it would take 3 generations for you to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't been long enough because I think he died in like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
So it ain't been long enough. But
Yeah.
I remember that. Like it was yesterday. I remember looking at it on TV. All these cases where Jake end up getting shot, or if they go to jail for a long time. It always gets widespread media attention. But that's the Lord showing you who the Israelites are. The real Israelites are, you know, they're not um prospering in this kingdom. They're not just doing anything they want to do, you know. Hence them, small hats, that's claiming to be us. They can get off on these things, right? The Edomites in general, they can get off on taking somebody out or, starting a situation and it ends up in a bad uh way.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get no penalty for that. Because this is their world. Job 9:24. This ain't
Yep.
our world, you know? It tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes. Let me see if I can get that. I think it's Ecclesiastes 10 and 10 and 7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses
Kind.
and princes walking as servants upon the earth. You see, so that horse means power, right? And the real servants that's supposed to be serving us are these other nations, you know, and Esau, Edom.
Yep.
But we're not on that horse right now. They are. They in a position of power. They ruling. They have the jurisdiction over us. So that's why. And I believe I heard with the Carmelo Anthony case, they said it was an all-white jury.
All white
So
jury.
what does that remind you of?
Yep.
It reminds you of segregation back in the 50s and 60s and 40s. You know, same thing with it kind of reminds me of the Emmett Till situation. That didn't, that's not the same exact situation. But the point is, I think it was all white jury, then down there in Mississippi, whenever, that thing happened. Which I ain't got going to Emmett Till. We all know who that is.
Yep.
But that's just one of millions of Israelites that happened to. We don't even know how many Israelites that actually happened to. You know, but that's why these things are happening, man. We're the servants right now. We're subject to, this man's system, and we ultimately have to wait on the Lord. And I'm gonna get that unless you got one up.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna finish this on Baruch 3, and you can go ahead and get yours. This is Baruch 3 and verse 13. For if thou hadst walked in the way of power, thou shouldest have dwelled in peace forever. You see, if you didn't disregard wisdom, you wouldn't have to have the Carmelo Anthony's. You wouldn't have to have the Jake the other day, right? Sluggy, what's his name? Yeah, yeah, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, I
And
forgot the other Jake's name.
yeah, I forgot
Jake
the
the
other
guy.
Jake's name, and so on and so forth. There's Jake still in prison today. A lot of them false accused, a lot of them, just regardless, whatever they have done, hey, if you didn't disregard wisdom, you wouldn't be in this position. Us now, this defiled food, defiled air, these people proclaiming to be us, man, you know, in the time where, eventually we're going to get into Jacob's trouble and this man's going to come after us. If we did what we were supposed to do, man, we would have been dwelling in peace. But ultimately, if you know the scriptures, it was already written in the heavens that this was going to happen. This is just a crash course for us to learn righteousness, right? How to be righteous rulers, righteous judges, right? Because the scriptures speak of from the least to the greatest, right? It's gonna be in order, man. Let me get this last one. Verse 14. Learn where is wisdom and where is strength, where is the understanding, that thou mayest know also where is the length of days and life, where the light of the eyes and peace, right? So get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding while you can, right? because I may end up doing the lesson, just through the spirit, on that Carmelo Anthony's situation. Be thankful that we still have the time to preach this word, that you in this truth, man. Because a man's goings of the Lord, you could have got locked up for 35 years. You know what I'm saying? Uh, um, do not um, disregard Sophia, man. Be very thankful that the Lord gave you Sophia, man. Because you could have been out of here.
Kind of, the Lord could have had us in a situation like that. It
Yeah,
didn't happen. The Lord got us, both standing right here, at this present day, and we out here preaching the truth. That Jake, he going through it, man.
yeah,
You know, he going through it, man. His life is, changed forever. And if all hell break loose, then he may get out, may escape or whatever. But right now he through.
yeah.
He can't get out of that situation. This is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. It says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." So it's
Mhm.
ultimately talking about the Lord gathering these nations in the so-called Middle East, which is really Western Asia,
Yeah.
right? In the place Yahweh Shaphat,
Yep.
you know, in the book of Joel, gather these nations for War 3. The Lord is doing that for the controversy of Zion,
Yep.
you know, what these nations have done to the Israelites. And that's a part of it. The Carmelo Anthony's, the Jake's name that got shot, his name was Cyrus.
Cyrus.
Yeah, Cyrus
Mm.
Mack, you know. So the Lord's coming to take vengeance upon you nations for what you did to us, man. you know, and it's a righteous thing, man. The Lord is not a God that's all about peace and love and unity and Hershey kisses and starbursts. you know, the Lord's not dealing with that, man. The Lord ain't gonna just allow you nations to just keep dogging us, every chance you get. There's gonna be an end to this, into all this madness very, very soon. Y'all see this kingdom collapsing. I keep hearing about a damn famine,
Yeah.
all these data centers, drying up all the water, with the Strait of Hormuz and Iran and America, them blocking it off. That's blocking off all the imports and exports, coming to America. It made me think about also, I remember 6, 7 years ago, you know, all these plants, these food plants was getting blown up,
Yeah.
and all these farms, it was getting flooded, and now they putting ticks on these farms, so cause all types of disease for the cattle, and it's all the crops and stuff is not growing. So there's a lot of things building, and slowly uh coming to the point to where we're gonna hit that point of famine, you know, and a lot of you people, you're gonna die. You're not gonna make it, man. That's in Second Ezra 16.
Yep.
So don't think, oh well, cause this Jake, yeah, he's one nigga we don't have no more. He's done. He's gonna, I'm reading the comments on videos of people talking all types of shit, you know. But y'all got the judgment to come soon, man. This society is about to fall, man. That nigga Trump, he fell asleep with the damn NBA game, man. What are you doing? You know?
they say it's a curse every time he goes into the arena. The team ends up losing. Yeah, he fell asleep in the damn arena, man.
Like, what are you doing, man? Nobody even really cared for him to even be there. Like, even I think that one J. De'Aaron Fox that played for the Spurs, he was like, man, they over here patting us down, and we the players and stuff like that. Yeah, they doing a little too much.
Hmm.
He basically said in short words, that he didn't have to be there. I mean, you know, he didn't say too much, but that's pretty much what he said.
Yeah.
And that's taking the distraction away from them as far as people paying attention to him.
Hmm.
It's like it's about him.
Yeah.
And he definitely Nero, because Nero back then was going to games and he was entertained by that. So it definitely makes sense of what the elders and apostles said about that man.
Yeah. Elders and apostles and brothers on down, what they've been saying is on point, man. You go into the history, yeah, he loved them sports. That's why you see, I don't know if it happened yet. I don't think it happened yet. But they having a UFC event over there at the White House
Yeah, I think it's supposed to happen next month in
next
July.
month. Hey, don't be surprised after that. After this World Series or whatever they having,
Oh yeah, that's coming
right?
up too.
That's coming up. And after this UFC event, don't be surprised everything starts to shut down, man.
Wouldn't be
You
surprised at
know,
all.
you know. I want to get this. You talked about the AI data centers and the famine, right? Because you go into these AI data centers, it's another reason why we got to get the heck up out of here, right? People's electricity bills are going to go up, but their electricity. Me and this brother was watching it in the car while we was on our way from Tennessee with the Tennessee brothers, right? Was watching in the car, and let's just say, yeah, we got to get the heck up out of here. There's a numbing, buzzing sound that comes from these AI data centers. You know, so a lot of people are complaining of hearing that 24/7. A lot of people saying they going crazy from hearing that. And not only that, once again, their electricity bills is going up. It's draining up all the water. So now they're telling the people, right, you're on a water restriction,
Yep.
right? It's drinking up all the water, and even if it recycles the water that's coming back into your drains is polluted.
But yeah, it's even more polluted.
You see? Now you can look up how to clean water, right? Especially in the times that we coming into, that's a important skill to know how to clean water. You know, they got like anyways, instead of me, trying to explain it, just go look it up how to clean up your water, man. I might if I haven't before, I'll probably send you the link. But that's an important thing to know. You know what I'm saying? With the water being tainted, water being polluted, most definitely boil your water.
That's what I was
You
gonna
know what I'm
say.
saying? But there's a way where you have like a bucket up here or like a platform up here, and you may have like a paper towel or something, and it just drips into
Yeah, it catches all the dirt
yeah, yeah.
particles and stuff.
You know, that's one way to do it. Like I said, just look it up, especially in the times that we in. That is something important to know. Yeah, we got to get the heck up out of here, man. It says AI data centers will soon consume over 940 terawatt of electricity,
Woo.
and it says more than entire countries.
Uh, this devil, he's not wise, man. He didn't think about before he built these data centers how much it was gonna affect. Or no, I ain't even gonna say that. You know, this devil. It says in the book of Psalms, that he communes of laying snares privily,
Snares
and
privy.
he has deep counsel, man. So he does think about what he does, but he doesn't care. That's the difference. This devil. It says he's wiser than Daniel. You
He
know.
knows.
So he definitely knows the effect it's gonna have on the environment and people that's around it. He knows, he just don't care.
It's like, bruh, don't you know that you gotta live here too?
Yeah,
If it's drinking up all the water, right? It's polluting the land. Um, if I'm not mistaken, also it's radiation as well. Don't you know you gotta live here too?
that just made me think. It might affect people who took the,
It
the
took the
Steph
took the
Curry,
thing.
the Curry step back.
Let me see if I got that picture. I know I saved it.
I wouldn't be surprised, like all the radiation and energy coming from it, especially if you like don't live too far from it.
Yeah,
Because I think down here they're supposed to be building one in the West End, and they're supposed to be building one directly across the bridge in Indiana.
you
So
see
that's really close. And then you got the Ohio River, so I wouldn't be surprised if when they get done, that river start drying up.
that river's, hey, like the brother
You
said,
know,
that river's gonna start to dry up, man.
man.
Most definitely, because it's already, like I said, me and you watched the video on our way home, and you had these huge ass lakes just start to dry up, start to dry up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we got to get the heck out of here. It says Rockefeller patent killer confirms they can now have remote control over your cells with 5G and the Curry 3. All right, y'all remember the Curry 3 that was made mandatory around 2020, and how a lot of people end up running to get that thing? The brother was on the point, right? So it's right here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, all this was planned. And you got Kill Gates talking about the next scam gimmick, man. So yeah, this next one's gonna be real. You're seeing a lot of the hantavirus. I'm kind of seeing that die down, but don't be
Yeah,
surprised it, pops up again. But you're seeing a lot of the Ebola, man.
yeah,
A lot of the Ebola. So yeah, you know, when the scriptures say in Matthew 24, plagues going to be upon the earth. As a matter of fact, instead of me just quoting it, let me go ahead and get it.
yeah. That's one of the many ways that the Lord's gonna get a lot of you people out of here, man. It's about to get real bad. Brothers and elders did lessons on these things. And they titled the videos "Poly Crisis."
Yeah,
Which means more than one. So you got multiple things happening at once. It's all the judgment of the Lord, which it ain't bad like that yet. It's gonna get there though. Things are happening really fast, man. Prophecy is not tarrying, like it says in the book of Habakkuk, man. Things are speeding up. The water y'all shot for that, man. It's
yeah.
already June, man. I remember
It's
when
June.
this so-called Esau so-called year started. It felt like it was yesterday.
Hey,
You
for
know,
real.
and I did a lesson on China. They have the first commercially available, hey,
MOTB.
MOTB.
Yep.
It's ready, man. It's ready for the people, man. So it's gonna come over here soon. They already got, they really already got them, but they just waiting for the right time, for it to bring it out. Come on with it, man. Come on.
Yeah. Everything happens in the Lord's time.
Yeah.
And so what's happening, because I did a lesson on it as well, what's happening, Esau Edom's going to try to catch up. He already has it. He just has to implement it.
They're like people over there in Sweden,
Yeah,
Slovakia.
you good, brother. I
They
was done.
they already got them things inside of them in Sweden, and
Yep.
that's been for years. So how come America is a little slower? You know,
Yep.
well that's because people over in America, they got guns and you got the Constitution, you got the amendments and all that. People over here, they're gonna be probably less likely, willing to take it if everything is fine and handy dandy. That's why they gotta deplete the resources,
Hmm.
cause these famines, and it's just really all the Lord. It's really the Lord using them,
Yeah.
because the Lord prophesied it, and ordained it to happen for judgment, you know. But that's why these things are happening. It's so that people can get out of here, man. They can get going, and the people that's still here, well, hey, that's a part of his NWO, the Georgia Guidestones. He
Yep.
wants to reduce the population with it to what it say like 5 million or maybe even less than that, because there's billions of people on Earth, like
Yeah.
7, 8 billion people, according to Esau. Which really it may be even more than that, because Esau can't, how you gonna count everybody,
You
man?
can't count
You,
everybody.
you you got damn tribes in certain places on Earth. Esau he can't even go over there because they gonna take him out.
Hmm.
Like in the Amazon. You know,
Over there in, I think you meant over there in Africa,
yeah, I think I
Madagascar,
heard in the Amazon too. Like
Amazon too.
it's so much, like it's so condensed as far as the trees and the
Yeah.
forest. And I think when they was flying over it, they seemed like these people, but they was walking almost naked and stuff like that with the spears and stuff, and they don't know who they are. They don't know. So this man Esau can't count everybody that's on the earth. That's impossible. He really ain't supposed to be doing it anyway.
Yeah.
That's especially Israelites. I'll say. But of course, this man, he thinks he's the Lord, man. That's why he's doing all these things, man, on the earth.
Yeah, because our people has been scattered around the four corners of the earth. So our people is mixed and mingled with all these people. So, this man trying to say, oh, there's 8 billion people on the earth, hey, what happened to King David, right? King David tried to take a census and the Lord said not to do that. And so there was an angel that came through and started killing people. So, nah, you ain't supposed to do that.
Yep.
So what's going to happen to Esau Edom, right? The Lord's going to have his tens of thousands of holy angels come down and take this nigga out, rightfully so. As the scriptures speak of in 1 hour. And just me speaking as a man, but most definitely through the spirit, man, that's the Lord playing around with you. Lord can just snap his finger, be done. So he's just playing around with his food, you know. But the scriptures do say, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, man. So, hey, it's gonna be beautiful. Matter of fact, if you ever been in a fight, you know, shoot, 1 minute, all right, a couple seconds is a long time, you know.
Nah.
especially to somebody that's not trained. Just even a couple seconds, couple minutes is a long time to be fighting. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I do not feel sorry for you, Esau. You know,
Not at all.
it's going to be a beautiful takedown when the Lord comes to take you out of power. Matter of fact, I meant to get this earlier. Matthew 24. I'm gonna just get to the point. In verse 6, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right? As the brother spoke of, these things is happening, and these things are speeding up. Right? You had the other day, Iran and Israel trading blows. Supposedly there was supposed to be a ceasefire, but that was for
Yeah, Trump keep lying and
yeah.
saying, that everything's all good. This nigga lying every day on the news, bro. Like I
You
be
see,
I be paying attention. Like, come on, man.
see, everything's everything's all good. We wiped out their military. We wiped them out. They have they're totally depleted, but you're still making negotiations. You still fighting. Planes are still going down. Your warships are still going down. So what is it, man?
This nigga can't take care of himself. How can he take care of a country? You
Mm-hmm.
know, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. He even talks about a righteous man. If he can't take care of his own house, how should he lead the church?
Uh-huh.
You know, which I'm not saying this man is righteous. I'm just saying as far as just
Yeah,
taking care of
just using it
yourself.
as an example.
I'm
Yep.
using it as an example, comparing it. You got to take care of yourself, and then you'll be able to take care of multitudes of people. Or guide them and instruct them. But this man can't do that, man. He didn't do it the first term. This man. Yeah, I think the first term is when he took the president of Iran. Now I remember that. I think it was in
Yeah.
2019, so about 7 years ago.
They put a hit out on him.
Yeah, it was. His name was like Soleimani.
Soleimani. Yep.
People thought World War III was gonna pop off. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah, you don't have the understanding.
Not yet. Not
You,
yet.
you think it is. That's that wars, rumors of wars, though.
Mm-hmm.
Prophecies have to play out. Things have to get to a certain point to where the Lord say, "Yep, it's go time."
Yep.
Like the MOTB we was talking about. That has to take place. There can't be World War III and then the MOTB. That doesn't make sense. World War III is when the missiles hit America, right? Our homeland, Jerusalem. Because every country on earth is not gonna get hit with no missile, but America is gonna be like the main place of where this place is gonna get completely destroyed. It's gonna be a desert wasteland. You know, and then the only people that only here over here that's gonna get saved is gonna be the elected Israelites that get beamed up.
Yep.
Anybody else who don't get beamed up, you're gonna get turned into powder. That's what's gonna happen to you.
Yep. And it's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be beautiful. Let me go back to Baruch, because there's something that I want to get in that real quick. I believe it's 4, right? Because once again, we were speaking on earlier within the lesson, you know, us getting that judgment. Our people disregarded this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? And if you did regard it, this wisdom, you would have been in peace. But we are yet this day in our captivity, right? So this is Baruch 4 and verse 6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved power to wrath. Ye were delivered unto your enemies. So that's why, still to this very day, our people's been taken down.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day. All right. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrifices unto devils and not to power. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. You see? That's why. That's why you still seeing a lot of our people being taken down. All right. What about old boy Carmelo? Right? His household could have been under that Caesar Borgia, man, or Islam or whatever, man. You know, even if they didn't believe in nothing. All right. A fool says in his heart that there is no God. Right? So regardless, man's goings of the Lord had it to happen to where you got sent to the slammer, man. And that's judgment. Right? Once again, we hate to see it. That
Yeah,
makes us angry, man.
it does.
Right? But once again, through the scriptures, right, and through the spirit, we understand that he's paying for what he did, either in his life now or in his past life, you know. But regardless, we out here on the highways and byways telling our people to repent, so you won't have to go through that no more, man. So you can enjoy your sons and daughters, so you can really truly enjoy your family, man. Right? Because my brother came into town the other day. You know what I'm saying? He lives in another state. You know, so the fam got all together, man. That should be an everyday thing, man. Jake in the world be complaining or be talking about, these folly days are the only days we all come together, man. It shouldn't be like that. First and foremost, the folly days, right? Esau Edom's holidays, right? Is wicked. It all goes back to pagan gods and rituals and all that shit, man.
Idolatry.
Idolatry, like the brother said, you know. And secondly, once again, you should have a beautiful get together with your family every day, every week, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is, through the spirit. That's how it is going to be in the kingdom, man.
Con.
You know, because some of us got that wicked ass cousin, that friend, that family member. Hey, they cool, but I'm keep you arms, or even more distance away, man. It shouldn't have to be like that. That's why we out here on highways and byways, man. Because we telling you, a day is coming, man, where we're gonna have true peace. That wicked ass cousin, that wicked ass homeboy, you know, he gonna be cool in the kingdom, man. Gonna be cool in the kingdom. But yeah, go ahead, Doc.
Con. I was reading this last night. Isaiah 43 in verse 25. This is coming soon, Jake. Coming soon. That says, I, even I, am he that blotteth out thy transgressions for mine own sake.
Mm.
Right? Because the Lord made a promise to Abraham's seed that he will never forsake them. Ultimately, the Israelites, you know? It says, and it will not remember thy sins. That's in the kingdom, man. When YAHSHAWAR returns, they let get beamed up. We enter into that new covenant. Hey, we're going to have them new bodies. We're not going to ever go off again. Even Jakes that died on his side that didn't make it, they're going to come back through the loins of the elect in the kingdom. Right? It says, put me in remembrance and let us plead together. Declare thou that thou mayest be justified. And that's what Israel, the most of our people are not doing. They're seeking other guys. They're not seeking YAHSHAWAR. They're going to this man Esau Edom for help. And they hate you. They constantly tell you and show you that. They're not gonna ever love you. They may smile and do that little fake smile where they do that smirk, you know, and not show all their teeth. But they're gonna show their horns. They're gonna show their rust is gonna show, like it says in the book of Sirach. Eventually,
Mhm.
it says, thy first father have sinned, and thy teachers have transgressed against me. Therefore, I have profaned the princes of the sanctuary, and I have given Jacob to the curse and Israel to reproaches. You see, that's why we're going through these things, man. We didn't seek the Lord, man. You know, the answers are out here to why we're going through what we're going through, but Jake still don't want to listen. You know, I got another one. I can let
Oh
you got
yeah, go
one.
ahead, brother.
It's Isaiah. Get that real quick. Isaiah 60. Let me see. I think it's Isaiah 65. No, that's not that. That's not the one. Isaiah 59. It says 59 and 1, it says, behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened,
Mm.
that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. It says, but your iniquities have separated between you and your power, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear you. So the Lord knows you, Jakes, is out there marching. He knows that we're suffering. He knows that you don't get no justice. He knows that we gotta work for this man and do this and do that every day. He knows these things, man. So the Lord is not, he's not slack concerning his promise, man, but that promise on this side is for the elect.
Yup.
you know. And Lord willing, we endure to the end, Lord willing, we a part of that number, you know. That's the justice that we waiting for, our Lord Yahweh to return, you know, complete mercy from the Lord, because the Lord didn't have to die for us, he didn't have to give us his truth back, you know. And ultimately that's going to include you 2/3 in the kingdom, but on this side you gotta get your judgment, and in a horrific way because you're not seeking the Lord on this side. Everything's ordained ultimately, you know. With that whole situation, man, Carmelo Anthony, man, he's gonna get his get back, but in the kingdom, and that other Jake that got taken out,
Yep.
and these things what happened like, I think that one, the Carmelo Anthony case, it actually happened last
It
year, I
happened
think,
last year.
but the other Jake it happened like recently, where the Lord's constantly showing you, who His people is. They're not the ones that are prospering. They're not on top. They're going through hell. They're going through the curses. You know, it talks about Let me see if I can get this one and it talks about us being amongst the Gentiles, which are actual Gentiles, actual heathens, right? Where we're around them and we don't have no pleasure
Mm.
um from the heathens. Like they don't take pleasure in, us. They'll use us because they know we're strong, they know we can do this and that, but they don't truly want to see us, do good or advance or seek the Lord because they know that's gonna be their downfall. That's why they plotted against us in Psalms 83. You know, whenever we're on top, it ain't good for these heathens, man. But whenever we're at the bottom, it's good for them because obviously if we was at the bottom, we was going off. But now the roles they're really reversing.
Yeah.
Don't think because you know that Jake got sentenced, Esau, Edom ain't catching hell. Y'all bills are still going up, right? You know, y'all still getting sick. Y'all gonna get caught up in all this hell that's about to take place. On the earth, the Lord's gonna get y'all too. So don't think that you just good or you just gonna make it. Even if you got a farmhouse, you may have supplies, you may have guns. Nigga, the Lord's still gonna get you. However he does it. You know? Yeah, that's just one Jake, man. That's an Islamer, man.
One of many.
Yep.
One of many. And our people, as the sands of the sea, the scriptures speak of our people is hidden in prison houses.
Yep, that's in
You know,
Isaiah 42.
if you want to get that one,
Kind. Yeah, mostly Jake fills up the prisons. It's not nobody else. It's so-called blacks and Hispanics. They fill up most of the prisons, man.
you
Is that on accident? No. It's in the scriptures. It's Isaiah 42 in verse 22 says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
you see,
They are all of them snared in holes. They are hidden in prison houses. They are for a
hmm
prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore." Right? There ain't nobody coming to save Jake. That's not Yahushua. You know? That's why that Jake not getting out of that situation. He more than likely not. He's gonna have to deal, you know, for his own sins, for what he did,
hmm
you know. And most of these Jakes that's in prison, a lot of them was falsely accused. You look into these different cases, you look into these different testimonies that Jakes that got out that had served all their life. They was accused of maybe, taking advantage of a woman or something, or the police officers say they matched the description of somebody and it wasn't even them. You know how many times that happened to Jake millions of times over.
yep.
And it was intentional a lot of times. It was intentional. It wasn't no accident. Esau it tells you in Psalms, 10, it tells you that he sitteth in the villages, lurking. I'm
Lurking,
paraphrasing it,
you know.
seeking whom he may devour, man. That's what this man does.
Let's see, I believe there's one in Psalms 13. Let me see if I get one.
Even this man This man still got sundown towns.
Yep.
In 2026, June 10th, these things still exist. You know, all these police officers and mayors and secretaries and people that are a part of the city council and the government, they all got ties to the KKK. You know,
Even with this trial, once again, it was all Edomite jewelry.
you think that was on accident? It wasn't no accident.
And then I gotta find this picture. I thought I had it in here, but it pretty much showed that you know it was all planned. They had even the judge in their pocket.
Yep.
Let me see if I can find Slocky, y'all. Let me see if I can find this picture real quick. Right, Slocky. But just anyways, the judge was in the pocket too. You know, there's a picture out there that showed old boy's family. You
Oh,
know,
taking the picture.
Yeah.
I seen that.
Old boy's family with the judge and stuff. Let me see.
If you watch
I
that
got it
show,
right here.
Salakiak, if you watch that show called Your Honor on Netflix, you know, the judge on there is an Edomite, and his son ends up, you know, I'm kind of spoiling it, but he ends up killing somebody, and what he do? Obviously he protects his son,
Yeah.
you know, because he has the power to do that, and everybody in the city knows who he is. You know, y'all gotta watch that. You know, I highly, you know, suggest you watch
Recommend it.
that. You
Yep.
know, it's a good series, man.
Yeah, you saw this one right here.
Yep, I seen that picture. I
Yep.
think I seen, you know, that one Jake Willie D, you know,
Yep.
posted or something, but
Yep.
that lets you know who's ruling. They are in the power seat right now, man.
Yeah. Scriptures say it's plain and clear. They are not in trouble as other men.
Yep.
Right? We have seen it time and time again. Right? They get off. Right? If the roles were reversed and that was the Edomite, right? He would have got off. Right? He would have got off, man. But we are yet this day in our captivity. We are suffering for what we have done in our past life. How is the greatest people that ever walked the earth put into captivity, right? Because we forsaked our holy power, as I read in Baruch 3, man. We forsaked our holy power, you know? So we have to go through it, you know, and this is all a test because at the end of the day, this is a beautiful movie. This is the Lord's movie that's being played out right before our very eyes, man. Right? That's why the scriptures say, he that endureth to the end, the same shall what? The same shall be saved, man. You know, just roughly paraphrasing the scriptures. You got to endure this hardship. Endure hardness as a good soldier. You know, look into the regimen of the soldiers. Look how soldiers get ready for war. I'm not talking about these new Babylonian soldiers, but hey, if you want a good example of right now, you know, look at these other nations. I'll say like that. But in the past, right, real men will get ready for war. They have their training regimen. They have their mindset ready. You know, they will put them through all these obstacles and, you know, put them through all these scenarios, get them ready for war. You got to spiritually get ready.
Well, yep.
Spiritually get ready for persecution. Easier said than done. The scriptures say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Just roughly paraphrasing, man. You know, because you know, as the brother said at Kelt, you know, a lot of times we like, man, let's go ahead, bring it on, man. The spirit's like, go ahead, bring it on.
Yeah.
I was even cutting my grass the other day. I was like, man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
They
what we
come,
gonna do? They
but
they track us. They know where we live at. They know where we work. They can turn on the camera and the audio to the phones, even the
mm-hmm.
TV.
Phone, TV, yup,
And they can
iPad,
the Wi-Fi too. They can, you
computer,
know, use like I think it's like motion.
scanner,
Yeah,
tracker, something like that.
yeah. It can track like the motion in the house, so it knows where you at in the house, like through the Wi-Fi. That's why even the Wi-Fi has even been upgraded since years ago.
Yup.
And that's why you paying so much for it because that's really what they can do with this technology.
Matter of fact, that's another reason why they got rid of lead paint. They said it was poisonous and all that type of stuff. You know, kids was eating it and getting poisoned. Well, really, when you go into the lead paint, right, it blocks off all these frequencies. So I may even look into it, you know, look into getting some lead paint, you know what I'm saying? Because the Lord has it to where some of these metals, you know, like the gold, the silver, you know, brothers got the gemstones and stuff like that. It's good for the body for a reason, man. You know, other attributes to help you out.
Wait, copper?
Copper, yep. But yeah, you know, Esau Edom been getting rid of things, you know. Matter of fact, going back to the copper, back then, right, you would go to the physician and they will have copper door handles, man. You know, I remember when I first came into the truth, I was listening to a brother. You know, he talked about having copper cups.
Yep.
You know, copper water bottle. I gotta get me another one. Mine's rusted out, but you know, it has great benefits to it, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's a natural filter.
Yep. Yeah, I most definitely gotta give me another one, but yeah, helped out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we regardless. We got to get the heck up out of here. Um, it was a scripture that I wanted to get. Let's see.
That's why we gotta sigh and cry for all the
Yeah.
abominations done there, like it says in the book of Ezekiel, man. That's what we out here doing. We're sighing and crying, for Jake, man. For our Lord Yahweh Shai to return, to restore us to the beginning, man. You know, daily we do this.
Hmm. This is Psalms 12. This is Psalms 12. Let's see. And I'm gonna just get to verse 3. The Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things, right? Because this man Esau Edom has a time, date, in which he's going to be taken down for all that he have said and all that he has done, right? Because this man has exalted himself, tries to exalt himself as the Lord, right? Who said with our tongue, we Slakia, with our tongue will we prevail, our lips are our own. Who is the Lord over us? Right? For the oppression of the poor, for the signing of the needy, now I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that buffeted at him. You see, us making our calling election sure. Yahweh desire whatever we go through and whatever comes, especially in the time of Jacob's trouble. The Lord's going to deliver us, man. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. You see? That's how beautiful the words of Yahweh Bashmi Shai is, right? That's why you don't take advantage of Sophia. You was given Sophia, man, make sure you use it to the best of your ability, man. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever, you see? Right? You keep the pure words of Yahweh Bashim Shah, the Lord's going to keep you, right? And here's the point. The wicked walketh on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Right now, the vilest men are exalted, right? What the scriptures say, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You see? The vilest men are exalted within this kingdom. That's why we have so much wickedness going on. There was some streaming the other day, or influence or whatever. Their dog got lost and eaten.
Damn,
You know what I'm saying? Only in Esau Edom's kingdom, man.
the dog got eaten.
Dog got eaten, man.
Yeah, it was a small dog or a big dog?
I'll say about medium size. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
We gotta get the heck up out of here. These people out here eating dogs,
Yeah. Moabites.
Moabites. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't be eating Chinese food like that.
You
I
know.
know.